In body language. Because why? Well, for the same reason that clothing is important, because clothing covers 95% of our body, so 95% of the first impression we make is going to be our clothes. Body language is important because 80 to 90% of all our communication with other people is nonverbal. It's not contained in the words that we say, it's the way we say them. It's the tone of voice, it's the gestures, it's the eyes, it's the set of the face. That's why a person-to-person contact, knee-to-knee and head-to-head, as the Japanese say, that person-to-person contact is worth far more than any telephone contact because you can see all the nuances. You can see the person, you can see how they're thinking and feeling and reacting, you can see the eyes and the body language. So therefore, always stand erect. The best posture in selling, standing up as though there was a string and the string was holding your head up so that your body is completely straight, so your spine is completely straight. Sitting down, you should always keep your back erect, sitting. Never fold your arms when you're talking to people because it means that you're closing them out in many cases. And if a person has their arms folded, it's very important that you do something to get those arms unfolded. And one of the best things to get their arms unfolded is to hand them something that they have to take with two hands. Say, by the way, take a look at this, and hand it to them. They have to reach out with two hands. We find that if a person unfolds their arms, they unfold their mind simultaneously. If a person's arms are folded, their mind is folded. Very, very important. So don't sit there with your arms folded, crossing your legs. What does cross legs mean? Cross legs usually mean that you're holding back information. Cross legs at the ankle means that. Cross legs over the knee means that you're holding back information. Some people sit like that because it's comfortable, but just be aware that cross legs is a bodily sign that denotes holding back, if you like, or constraint. Your best body language is leaning slightly forward, attentively, watching the prospect, listening carefully to what the person is saying, nodding and smiling, nodding and listening, because it's very, very hard for a person to resist a person who is listening to them closely and nodding and smiling and is obviously interested in what they have to say. And as you know, if your prospect will talk long enough, they'll probably tell you what you need to know to be able to structure your offering so that they'll buy it. So that the more you can lean forward, the more attentive you are, the more you listen, the more you nod, the more you smile, keep your back straight, never lean against the back of a chair. Why is that? Well, because when you're leaning against the back of the chair, you're slouching. We find that there is a psychological process in selling, or in all human relationships, called mirroring. And mirroring means that whatever you do on an ongoing basis, other people start to do too. That people will begin to mirror your behaviors. If you lean back in a chair and slouch comfortably, the other person will lean back and slouch comfortably, and a slouched back, lean back, relaxed prospect is not going to make a buying decision. If you lean forward attentively, put one hand on the desk, pay close attention to what the person is saying, smile and nod and listen and ask questions, the other person will lean forward also. Very important. And body language can be as much as 60-70% of the communication. We always believe what a person does more than what a person says. And if there is variance between what the person is saying and what they're doing, we'll always believe what they're doing. As they say, have you ever heard of a person who smiles only with their mouth? The eyes don't smile? Now, what happens when you see a smile like that? You feel like the canary in the cage looking at the cat, don't you? That's why body language is so important. That's why, by the way, the more you like yourself, the more goal-oriented you are, the more motivated, the more you're selling a product that you believe in, the more animated and positive and enthusiastic your body language is, the greater the impact that you have on the subconscious mind of the customer. Noise, always try to minimize the noise in the selling environment. If the person is coming into your place of business, try to make sure that there are no interruptions. If you're going to the other person's place of business, try to suggest that we sit down quietly where we can't be interrupted for 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes if you'll ask the prospect, say, I just need 10 minutes, is there somewhere where we could sit where we won't be interrupted? Very often the prospect will say, well, sure, why don't we go over here? They'll do it. And not only that, when they get into the habit of responding to your reasonable requests, they'll eventually start responding to your other reasonable requests, like buying the product. Positioning is very important. I always try to position myself so that I'm sitting to the left of the prospect. If you're left-handed, then you should sit to the right of the prospect. But there is sort of an uneasiness about having somebody on our right hand. I think it goes back many, many years into our history where the right hand was the sword hand. We don't like people to be on our right hand, but we do like them on the left. And if you're sitting to the left of the prospect, have the person's wife or partner sit to the right of them so that you can talk to both of them and make eye contact with both of them, and they have difficulty making direct eye contact with you. Try to avoid barriers like tables and chairs. One point, when you're selling in a person's home, it's very important that you do not make your presentation in the living room. And the reason for that is that couples, families, do not make business decisions or important family decisions in the living room. It's out of their comfort zone. They make them at the kitchen or dining room table. That's where they talk business. So although you'll be invited to sit in the living room, what you say is, why don't we sit at the kitchen table where we would be more comfortable? The person who you're talking to will be more than willing to say, sure, why not? Because that's where they feel more comfortable too. When you get to the kitchen or dining room table, have them show you where to sit. Because you don't want to sit in Mama Bear's chair and you don't want to sit in Papa Bear's chair. Again, if you do, the other person will be uncomfortable. They will feel that their space has been violated. It's a small thing, but nobody ever buys